श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यल्लभ विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत स्मर भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यल्लभ विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत स्मर भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल्लभ विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत स्मर नित्यल्लभ विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत स्मर भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल्लभ विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत स्मर नित्यल्लभ विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत स्मर भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल्लभ विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत स्मर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल्लभ विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गोक्षरस बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामनंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाति गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंग देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री देवानंद पंडित की जय। तदीय शुभ थिरुभाव तिथि की जय। शिल भक्ति भूदेव श्रोति महाराज की जय। तदीय शुभ थिरुभाव तिथि की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, Raseshwari Mataji, Hari Bo. And Nri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji, Hari Bo, Dandavat Pranams. And I see there are a few other people watching on YouTube and Facebook. Pranams to all of you. Okay, so we are continuing from our reading of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. But first I'll do Mangala Charan. Starting to get a bit of a sore throat, so that's why I might be talking a little softer, or I don't know, differently. Okay. Okay, so Mangala Charan. Ajnanatirmirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurube namaha. Gurave gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaye krishnaya krishna bhaktaya tad bhaktaya namo namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ajanulambita bhujao Kanakavatato Sankirtanaika pitaro Kamalayataksho Vishwambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro. Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Jai 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 Vishwambara Dvijaraj Jaya Vishwambara Priya Vaishnava Samaj Gaurachandra Jaya Dharma Setu Mahadhir Jaya Sankirtanamoy Sundar Sharir Jaya Nityanandir Bandhava Dhana Pran Jaya Gadadhar Advaiter Premadham Jai Shri Jagarananda Priya Atishay Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarer Hriday Jai Jai Shivasari Priya Varganath Jiva Pratikoro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat Madhya-khaṇḍa Katha Jeno Amriter Khanda Jai Katha Shunile Ghuche Antar Pashanda Madhya-khaṇḍa Katha Bhai Shuno Ekachite Sankirtana Aramba Hoilo Jeno Mate Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvam Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Shitashtakamad Taranga Madhe Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charana Ravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Hari Bol Shubhananda Prabhu and Ganga Mataji Hari Bol. So I'm just doing pardon right now. Okay, the glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. Ore mora lok shuno Chaitanya Mangal Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Beshakal Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ver Vyas Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal Jahara Shravane Nashi Sarvaya Mangal Chaitanya Nitar Jate Janiye Mahima Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima Bhagavate Jata Bhakti Siddhanter Sar Likhiachen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar Chaitanya Mangal Shune Jadi Pashandi Javan Seho Mahavaishnava Hoy Tatakhan Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Vakta Shri Chaitanya Vrindavana Dasa Pade Koti Namaskar Aiche Granta Korite Ho Tarila Sangsar Narayani Chaitanya Uchishta Bhajan Tar Garbe Janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavan Tar Ki Arbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan Jahara Shravane Nash Shuddha Koila Tribhuvan Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar Vrindavana Dasamukhe Amrite Dhar Vrindavana Dasamukhe Amrite Dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai. Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Priya Didi. Okay, so now we are We are continuing on with our reading of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, reading from chapter 10. But so that we get the flow of the Leela, I want to go through the synopsis of chapter 9 first. So, this is written by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, the Katha Sar. One second. Okay. So the previous chapter is called the Lord's 21-hour ecstasy, Sat Prahariya Bhav, and descriptions of Sridhar and other devotees' characteristics. This chapter describes Sri Gaurasundar's. This is written by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. This chapter describes Sri Gaurasundar's Sat Prahariya mahā-prakāśa, our 21-hour divine manifestation, his sitting on the throne of Lord Vishnu, the performance of his abhishek by the devotees, the offering of prayers and the worship of Mahāprabhu with 16 ingredients according to the rules and regulations prescribed with the 10-syllable Gopal mantra, the Lord's eating foodstuffs offered by the devotees, Mahāprabhu's narration of the previous histories of devotees headed by Srivas, the devotees' performance of evening arati, topics of the topmost devotee Sridhar, and the glories of the Vaishnav's characteristics. Okay, so now the more detailed synopsis. One day, Mahāprabhu came with Nityananda to the house of Srivas. Understanding the mood of the Lord, all the assembled devotees began to perform kirtan. Sri Gaurasundar, who is the supreme teacher of everyone, regularly danced in the kirtan in the mood of a devotee. Yet, in his own mood, he sometimes sat on the throne of Vishnu as if unaware of what he was doing. On this day, however, the Supreme Lord Sri Gaurasundar concealed his mood as a devotee, and with a desire to accept the service of his surrendered servants, he sat on the throne of Vishnu for 21 hours and revealed that he is personally Lord Vishnu, the shelter of all devotees. In this mahā-prakāśa pastime, he manifested all the forms of Vishnu's incarnations. I'm taking breaks to drink hot water because I have a sore throat. Okay. This day, in response to the Lord's gesture, the devotees happily worship Sri Gaur Narayan, who is the Lord of Vaikuntha and full in 6 opulences. They worshipped him with various ingredients through the performance of the abhishek ceremony meant for the King of Kings. After worshipping Mahāprabhu with 16 ingredients according to the prescriptions of the 10-syllable Gopal mantra, the devotees offered various prayers and described his transcendental qualities and pastimes by glorifying him as the cause of all causes, the controller of all controllers, and the Lord who has accepted the mood of a devotee to manifest his own service for delivering the fallen souls. Thereafter, Sri Gaurasundar spontaneously extended his lotus feet to be worshipped, and all the devotees worshipped his lotus feet with various accumulated ingredients according to their respective desires. With a desire to accept the service of his devotees, Mahāprabhu also happily ate various foodstuffs offered by them, and he began to describe previous experiences of the devotees headed by Srivas. Later, after the devotees finished offering evening arati, Sri Gaurasundar instructed the devotees to bring his dearmost devotee Sridhar in order to exhibit his pastimes of opulence to him. As the Vaishnavas, following the Lord's instructions, covered half the distance, they heard Sridhar loudly chanting the holy names of Hari, and by following that sound, they came to his house. Although according to external characteristics, Sridhar was extremely poor, since he was a transcendental devotee of Mahāprabhu, he was eternally enriched with the treasure of Krishna Prem. The extraordinary example of service to the Lord exhibited in this world by the destitute Kolabecha Sridhar, who is as truthful as Yudhishthir, is meant to be followed by everyone. The atheists thought that Sridhar remained awake and chanted the name of the Lord throughout the night due to being afflicted by poverty and hunger. They did not know that Sridhar was constantly engaged in the service of the husband of Lakshmi Devi, the predominating deity of all opulences. Therefore, he can never actually be afflicted by poverty. Sridhar did not pay any attention to the statements of the atheists, but constantly remained absorbed in drinking the nectar of Krishna's holy names. At night, he eagerly prayed to the Lord for the spiritual benefit of himself and the entire world. As soon as Sridhar heard the name of Mahaprabhu from the devotees, he lost consciousness out of ecstasy. The devotees then carefully brought him before Mahaprabhu. On seeing Sridhar, Mahaprabhu became greatly pleased, and Sridhar also became overwhelmed by seeing the Lord's most enchanting transcendental form. During the Lord's pastimes as a student, Sridhar passed his life by selling banana leaves, banana flowers, and banana stems. In order to establish that the Supreme Lord happily accepts the offerings of his devotees, but does not even look at the offerings of non-devotees, Mahaprabhu would forcibly snatch those items from Sridhar, and as a result, even quarreled with him. Mahaprabhu reminded Sridhar about those pastimes and expressed his desire to award him the 8 kinds of mystic perfection. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu displayed his extraordinary opulence to Sridhar. As soon as Sridhar saw that display, he was struck with wonder and fell unconscious to the ground. When, on Sriman Mahaprabhu's order, Sridhar regained his external consciousness, Mahaprabhu instructed him to offer prayers. After Sridhar humbly expressed his inability to offer prayers to Mahaprabhu on the pretext of ignorance, the Lord ordered Shuddha Saraswati to manifest on the tongue of Sridhar, and thus Sridhar began to offer wonderful prayers to Mahaprabhu. Being pleased by the prayers of Sridhar, Mahaprabhu asked him to accept any benediction he wanted. Sridhar asked for the benediction that he who regularly quarreled with him over banana leaves and flowers may remain his Lord, birth after birth. When Mahaprabhu desired to make Sridhar the emperor, Sridhar did not accept, but rather prayed for the qualification to glorify the Lord's transcendental qualities. The devotees of Sri Gaur do not hanker for any material object. They simply pray for the transcendental service of the Lord. Persons who have received Gaurasundar's merciful glance, they know that religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, or the 8 mystic perfections, and even liberation, are most abominable and insignificant, and thus they simply desire the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. They do not desire their own sense gratification. A Vaishnava cannot be recognized by his external features. People who are intoxicated with pride due to material assets cannot understand the glories of the opulence and wealth of Sridhar, who is an exalted transcendental Vaishnava. Although from the material point of view it may appear that the Vaishnavas are deficient, they actually have no deficiency. Although Vaishnavas appear in poor families within the world to teach the fallen and wretched living entities to worship Hari, they are not actually poor. The purpose of such pastimes is to demonstrate how one can worship Hari in spite of being born in a poor family. The characteristics of Vaishnavas are incomprehensible to the materialists. If one surrenders to the Vaishnavas with non-duplicitous simplicity, then by their mercy one can recognize them. It is the duty of every intelligent man to stay far away from the Vaishnava aparad of trying to measure the Vaishnavas with material knowledge. A person who is devoid of Vaishnava aparad can easily attain love of God by chanting the holy name of Krishna even once. Otherwise, Nama Parad in the form of blaspheming Vaishnavas will create havoc in one's life. Okay, so now we're beginning chapter 10, the conclusion of the Lord's mahā-prakāśa pastimes. Okay, so this is continuing on from the previous chapter Mahaprabhu is manifesting his mahā-prakāśa for 21 hours, and it's still going on. Okay. 1 second. Okay. This chapter describes the conclusion of Mahaprabhu's mahā-prakāśa pastimes mentioned in the previous chapter. Also, Mahaprabhu's exhibition in the form of Rāma with his associates and awarding benediction to Murāri Gupta, the glorification of Haridāsa Ṭhākura, Haridāsa Ṭhākura's offering of prayers to Gauranga, the narration of Advaita Acharya's previous history, his changing the text of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord's awarding various benedictions to the devotees, the Lord's first ignoring and then bestowing mercy on Mukunda, the influence of devotional service, the topics of Narayani, and the glories of Nityananda. Okay. I'm going to just read this more detailed summary until where we're reading up to today. Yeah. Okay. After awarding benediction to Sridhar, Mahaprabhu requested Advaita Acharya to ask for some benediction. Advaita, however, simply prayed to the Lord to award him his desired goal of life, but did not openly ask for any benediction. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu displayed the form of Sri Ram with his associates to Murāri Gupta, and reminded Murāri of his previous identity. As Murāri Gupta realized his own form as Hanuman, he fell unconscious to the ground. Later on, he regained his external consciousness by the words of the Lord and prayed for the benediction of being able to eternally serve Lord Chaitanya and his associates, remember the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, and sing the glories of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord awarded this benediction to Murāri and declared that anyone who blasphemes Murāri will not be delivered even if he takes millions of baths in the Ganga and chants the holy names of Hari. Thereafter, the Lord revealed the meaning of the name Murāri Gupta. Mahaprabhu then instructed Haridāsa to behold his form. Mahaprabhu declared that Haridāsa was more dear to him than his own self, and that he and Haridāsa belonged to the same family. On seeing the distress of Haridāsa, the Lord had descended from Vaikuntha with the Sudarshan chakra in his hand. But since Haridāsa desired auspiciousness for even his oppressors, the Sudarshan chakra desisted, and Mahaprabhu took the beating of Haridāsa on his own body. After exhibiting those marks of torture on his own body, Mahaprabhu further said that he was unable to tolerate the distress of Haridāsa, so he incarnated immediately. Lord Krishna, who is controlled by his devotees, does not know anything except his devotees. One who has no love for the holy names of Krishna, who is so affectionate towards his devotees, is simply suffering the results. One who has no love for the holy names of Krishna, who is so the holy names of Krishna, the names, who is so affectionate towards his devotees, is simply suffering the result of his own misfortune. On hearing the topics of the Lord's unlimited mercy, Haridāsa fell unconscious to the ground. Although he regained his external consciousness by the words of the Lord, he became agitated and began to cry. Thus he could not see the form of the Lord. With great humility, Haridāsa offered prayers to Mahaprabhu and said that the most merciful Gaurasundar never abandons even an insect who remembers his lotus feet, but he destroys even an emperor who does not remember his lotus feet. So we're going to hear the prayers of Haridāsa. We'll go through that tomorrow. Today we'll just reach up to this point, though, when Haridāsa Ṭhākura falls unconscious. Okay. Oh, and today is also the disappearance day of Devananda Pandit. So we'll see maybe if there's time at the end, we can read from Srila Bhakti Bhagavad Goswami Maharaj's his book, Śrī Caitanya and his Associates. But let's see, because I think we're reading like 5,500 words. That's usually like a full reading day. So let's see when we finish. Oh, Hari Bol, Rukmini Didi. Jai Jai Mahāprabhu Shri Gaura Sundar. Jai Jai Nityananda Anadi Ishwar. All glories to Mahāprabhu Shri Gaura Sundar. All glories to Nityananda, the primeval Lord. Heno mate Prabhu Shridhare re vara diya. Nada 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 bole mastak dhulaiya. In this way, the Lord awarded benediction to Sridhar, and then began to roll his head while saying, Nada, nada, nada. Prabhu bole acharya magaho nija karja, je magilo ta pailo bolo ye acharya. The Lord said, O Acharya, ask for what you desire. Advaita Acharya replied, I have already received what I asked for. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. When Mahaprabhu requested Advaita Acharya to ask for his cherished desire, Advaita Prabhu said, I have received whatever I prayed for. Hunkara koroye jaganater nandan, heno shakti nahi karo bolite vachan. The son of Jagannath Mishra roared loudly. No one had the ability to speak before him. mahā-prakāśa Prabhu Vishvambhara Rai Gadadhar Yogai Tambula Prabhu Khai. As Lord Vishvambar manifested his mahā-prakāśa pastimes, Gadadhar offered betel nuts, which the Lord ate. Dharani Dharendra Nityananda Dhare Chhatra Sammukhe Advaita Adi Sabha Mahapatra. Nityananda, who holds the universes on his head, held an umbrella over the Lord's head. Exalted personalities headed by Advaita stood in front. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Dharani Dharendra refers to Lord Shesh. He is the plenary portion of Nityananda. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 5:117 and verses 123 to 124, it is stated, that Supreme Lord Vishnu, in the form of Lord Shesh, holds the planets upon his heads. He serves Lord Krishna, assuming all the following forms: umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred thread, and throne. He is thus called Lord Shesh, for he has attained the ultimate end of servitude to Krishna. He takes many forms for the service of Krishna, and thus he serves the Lord. See Srimad Bhagavatam 5:17-21, 5:25-2, and 10:3-49. Actually, Rup Manjari wanted me to send the references to her for that point. I'll send it later. 1 second. Okay. There. Murāri re agya hoilo mor rupa dekho, Murāri dekhoe Raghunatha parateko. The Lord ordered Murāri, behold my form, and Murāri saw the Lord as Ramachandra. There's so much about Murāri Gupta and Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. I listened to an audiobook, and that was the thing that stood out to me more than anything else, was how much about Murāri Gupta there is in Caitanya-bhāgavata. He's like one of the main characters. Okay. So the Lord ordered Murāri, behold my form, and Murāri saw the Lord as Ramachandra. Durvadala Shama Dekhe She Vishwambar Virasane Boshiache Mahadhanurdhar. He saw Vishwambar. He saw Vishwambar was dark like fresh grass, and he sat in the Virasana, the Virasana posture as a powerful archer. I remember reading an explanation of Virasana in one of our readings. In Hatha Yoga, Virasana's like, I think you go like this. Anyhow. Anyways, but I'm not sure if it's the Hatha Yoga Virasana. It's probably a different one. Yeah, I think it's a different one I explained before. Janaki Lakshmana dekhe vamete dakhine chodike karoye stuti vanarendra gane. He saw Sita and Lakshman on the Lord's left and right. The leaders of the monkeys were offering prayers in the 4 directions. Apana prakriti vase. Wait, who's there? The leaders of the monkeys. Okay. They're offering prayers in the 4 directions. So on all sides of of Ram, Sita, and Lakshman, there's the monkey leaders offering prayers. Apana prakriti vase jeheno vanar sakrit dekhiya murcha pailo vaidyavar murchita hoya bhume murari porila Chaitanyer Phande Gupta Murāri Rohila. Murari realized that he was also one of the monkeys. Seeing the Lord face to face, the best of the doctors lost consciousness. As he lost consciousness, he fell to the ground in Lord Chaitanya's trap. Daki vole Vishwambar, are re vanara, pasarili tore porailo sita chora. Vishwambar exclaimed, "O monkey, you forgot how Ravan, who stole Sita, burned you." Gaudiya Bhashya, Ravan, who stole Sita, burned your face. Tui tar puri puri, kaili vangsha khoi, she Prabhu ami tore dilo parichoy. It's Mahāprabhu speaking in the Tui form again. You burnt his entire city and subdued his dynasty. I tell you, I am that Lord. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Tarpuri refers to the city of Lanka. Utho Murari, Amar tumi pran, Ami she Raghavendra, tumi Hanuman. O Murari, get up, Utho. You are my life. Amar tumi pran. I am that Ramachandra, Ami she Raghavendra, and you are Hanuman, tumi Hanuman. Sumitra Nandana dekho, tomar jivan, jare jiaile ani she gandamadan. See your life and soul, the son of Sumitra. You brought Gandamadhan hill to revive his life. It's Lakshman, right? Janakir charane koroho namaskar, jar dukhi dekhi tumi kandila apar. Offer your obeisances at the feet of Sita, whose distress made you cry profusely. Chaitanya Gupta Chaitanya paila, dekhiya shakal preme kandite lagila. Upon hearing Lord Chaitanya's words, Murari regained his consciousness. Seeing that manifestation, he began to cry in love. Shushka kashta drave shuni gupter krandan, visheshe drabila sab bhagavata gan. Upon hearing Murari Gupta cry, even dry wood melted, and the hearts of the devotees especially melted. Punarapi Murari re bole Vishwambhar, je tomar abhimata magi loho bar. Vishwambar again said to Murari, ask for any benediction you desire. Murari boloye Prabhu, ar nahi chaya, Heno koro Prabhu jeno tor guna gaya. Murāri replied, O Lord, I do not want anything. Simply allow me to sing your glories. Jete thai Prabhu kene janma nahi mor. Tathai tathai jeno smriti hoy tor. O Lord, I may take birth anywhere, but wherever I take birth, let me always remember you. Tathai tathai jeno smriti hoy tor. He's also speaking to the Lord in the Tui form. Janma janma tomar je. Now it's back to Tumi, but Janma janma tomar je sab Prabhu das. Tasabar shange jeno hoy mor vas. Let me reside in the association of your servants, birth after birth. Tumi Prabhu mui das, iha nahi jatha. Heno satya koro Prabhu, na pheli ho tatha. Saparshare tumi jatha koro avatar, tathai tathai das, hoi be tomar. O Lord, do not put me in a condition in which you are not my master and I am not your servant. May I remain your servant wherever you and your associates incarnate. Gaudiya Bhashya. As Mahāprabhu was about to award Murāri a benediction, Murāri said, I have no desire other than your service, birth after birth. May I not forget you and fall into some other state in any lifetime. May I be able to serve you in every lifetime. May my intelligence not be diverted from your service. In the Mukunda Mala Stotra, verses 3, 5 to 6, 24 to 25, it is stated, O Lord Mukunda, I bow down my head to your lordship and respectfully ask you to fulfill this one desire of mine, that in each of my future births I will, by your lordship's mercy, always remember and never forget your lotus feet. O my Lord, I have no attachment for religiosity or for accumulating wealth or for enjoying sense gratification. Let these come as they inevitably must, in accordance with my past deeds. But I do pray for this most cherished boon. What is that? Birth after birth, let me render unflinching devotional service unto your two lotus feet. O Lord, killer of the demon Narak, let me reside either in the realm of the demigods, in the world of the human beings, or in hell, as you please. I pray only that at the point of death I may remember your two lotus feet, whose beauty defies that of the lotus growing in the Sharat season. O Madhav, please do not let me even glance at those whose pious credits are so depleted that they have no devotion for your lotus feet. Please do not let me be distracted from listening to the worthy narrations of your pastimes and become interested in other topics. Please, O Lord of the universe, let me pay no attention to those who avoid thinking of you, and let me never be unable to serve you in some menial way, birth after birth. O enemy of Madhu and Kaitab, O Lord of the universe, the perfection of my life and the most cherished mercy you could show me would be for you to consider me the servant of 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 your servant. That's that famous verse. How does it go? Majjanmana phala idam madhukaita vare mat partaniya maranu graha esha eva tvar bhritta paricharaka bhrittam bhrittasyam bhrittam iti mam smaran lokanata. It's a famous verse. The servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. It just keeps on going on. Bhritta paricharaka bhrittasya bhrittam. Okay. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 7.10.6, it is stated, Ahang takamas tvar bhaktas tam cha swamyana pashraya nanyaten nanyate havayor artho rajase vakayoriha. O my Lord, I am your unmotivated servant, and you are my eternal master. There is no need of our being anything other than master and servant. You are naturally my master, and I am naturally your servant. We have no other relationship. The great devotee Hanuman prayed, Bhava bandha chide tasyai sprihayami namuktaye bhavan prabhur aham dasa ityatra vilupyate. Hanuman prays, I do not wish to take liberation or to merge in the Brahman effulgence, where the conception of being a servant of the Lord is completely lost. Similarly, in the Narad Pancharatra it is stated, Dharmartha kama moksheshu necha mama kadachana tvatpada pankajasyadho jivitam diyatam mama. I do not want any one of the four desirable stations, that's religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. I simply want to engage as a servant of the lotus feet of the Lord. In the Shikshashtaka it is stated, Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagarisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatar bhaktir ahaytuki tvai. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. What I want only is the causeless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth. In the Vishnu Purana it is said, Nata yoni sahasreshu yeshureshu vrajamyaham teshu teshva chuta bhaktir achutastu sadatvayi. O my Lord, even if I wander throughout the universe in thousands of different species of life, may I always have unflinching devotion to you. There's a similar verse in that song. What is it? Madhav Bahuta Minati Koritoy. Kiye Manusha Pashu Pakije Janamiye Atava Kirta Patange. Karama Vipake Gata Gati Puna Puna Mati Rahu Tua Parasange. Okay, so Murāri Gupta continues. So Murari made those prayers to the Lord that he remains his servant in any birth after birth, wherever, it doesn't matter where, but that he always remembers the Lord and never forgets his service, and remains his servant. Then Prabhu bole Satya Satya Evara Dilo Maha Jai Dvani Toto Kone Hoilo. Then the Lord said, I certainly grant you this benediction. And a tumultuous vibration of Jai, Jai immediately arose. Murarir pratisa Vaishnaver prita sarva bhute kripaluta Murari charita. All the Vaishnavas had great affection for Murari, who was by nature merciful to all living entities. 1 second. Jete stana murarir jadi sangha hoy she stana sarvatirtha Śrī Vaikunṭha moy. If Murari was associated with any place, that place became as sanctified as Vaikuntha. Murarir prabhava bolite shakti kara Murarir Vallabha Prabhu Sarva Avatar. Who can describe the glories of Murari? In every incarnation, the Lord was the dear friend of Murari. Ṭhākura Caitanya bole, Shuno sarvajan, Sakrit Murari ninda kore jai jan. Koti Ganga snane tar, nahi ko nistar. Ganga Hari Name, Tare Koribo Sanghar. Lord Chaitanya said, "Listen, everyone. Anyone who blasphemes Murari will not be delivered even if he takes millions of baths in the Ganga. Neither the Ganga nor the holy names of Hari will nullify his sins." Gaudiya Bhashya. In order to remove the sinful mentality of those proud persons who are envious of the devotees and who blaspheme the devotees while considering themselves engaged in taking bath in the Ganga and chanting the names of Hari, they consider that, Mahāprabhu said, if a person knowingly or unknowingly blasphemes a devotee constantly engaged in the service of the Lord, like Murari, and becomes envious of the devotees by claiming to have taken shelter of Harinam and the Ganga, then the Ganga and the holy names destroy such a person rather than award him any benefit. Wow. The holy names and the Ganga destroy the person rather than award him any benefit. Even today, the place of Murāri Gupta is found in Śrī Mayapur, in the tract of lands between the residential areas of the Muslims and the Hindus. Those proud persons who blaspheme Murāri Gupta by expressing hatred for the present pathetic condition of his place show disrespect for the Dham and cannot obtain any benefit from the waters that have emanated from the lotus feet of Vishnu. The syllables of Lord Hari's holy names, Namaparad, that they have received from their unauthorized gurus, vanquish such people by converting them into sense enjoyers birth after birth. Wow, the holy name vanquishes such people by converting them into sense enjoyers. The holy name, Namaparad, can make you into a sense enjoyer, birth after birth, rather than destroying your anartha as it increases. Envy of Vaishnavas produces such a formidable poisonous result. Such people commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy names, and as offenders of the holy names, they fall into the jaws of death. So that's interesting though. The result of Namaparad, I mean, lots of times you say like you go to hell for unlimited lifetimes and blah blah blah, like things like that. But actually, the result of Namaparad is also it's not that you'll like, and from a material perspective, meet with some great misfortune or but it's that you become completely materialistic and you go far away from bhakti, and there's no chance of your gaining the association of devotees or like in the true sense and relishing the holy name or whatever. It's like blocks you from that and it makes you a sense enjoyer. That's the result of Namaparad. If such people take bath in the water of the Ganga 10 million times, they will not be delivered. This is Sri Gaurasundar's instruction and words of chastisement toward the averse living entities. In the Dwarka Mahatma, it is said, Pujito Bhagavan Vishnur Janmantara Shatayar Api Prasiddhati Na Vishvatma Vaishnave Chapamanite. Lord Hari, the super soul of the entire universe, is never pleased with the miscreant who insults a Vaishnav, even if he has worshipped Vishnu for hundreds of births. See also the purport to Adi-khanda 16:169. Hari Bol Champak Mataji. Murāri Varshaye Gupte ihar hridaye, eteke Murāri Gupta nama jogya hoye. Lord Murari resides in his heart. Lord Murari resides in his heart, Gupte, or secretly. Therefore, his name is Murāri Gupta. That name, Murāri Gupta of his, is quite appropriate. Okay, so that's the meaning of Gupta. It means he's secretly residing in the Lord's heart. Murāri Gupta. Gaudiya Bhashya. Lord Murāri, Śrī Caitanya-dev. Okay, so not Murāri Gupta, but Lord Murāri, Śrī Caitanya-dev, always resides Gupta Bhave, or secretly, in the heart of Murāri Gupta. Therefore, the devotee Murāri is addressed as Murāri Gupta. Oh, it's the Lord's residing in his heart. Okay. Got it. Lord Murāri never resides Gupta Bhave, or secretly, within the bodies of those so-called Muraris, who are envious of devotional service and who are traversing the road to hell by thinking of themselves as Murāri Guptas. They only make a show of Lord Murāri's presence within their hearts. But actually, Lord Murāri remains far from their hearts while inducing them to hanker after gold, women, and fame. The desire of Śrī Gaurasundar is to chastise such persons. Those who are averse to and bereft of the service of Murāri would rather chew betel nuts themselves than offer them to the Lord. Being controlled by intoxicants, they never become servants of Murāri Gupta. Those who at present mistakenly accept the author of Amiya Nimai Charita as an incarnation of Murāri Gupta, with the evil intention of advertising themselves as incarnations of Śrī Gauranga, gain nothing but offenses. Interesting. There's somebody who wrote a book, Amiya Nimai Charita, and he claims that he was an incarnation of Murāri Gupta. That's why he's mentioning all this here. Very interesting. Murāri re kripa dekhi bhagavata gan, prem joge Krishna bole koren rodan. On seeing the Lord's mercy on Murāri, all the exalted devotees cried in love while chanting the names of Krishna. Murāri re kripa koilo Śrī Caitanya Rai, iha jai shune she prema bhakti pai. Anyone who hears the narration of Lord Chaitanya bestowing mercy on Murāri attains loving devotional service. Murāri Sridhar Kande Sammukhe Poriya, Prabhu o tambula khai Garjiya Garjiya. The Lord roared and ate betel nuts as Murāri and Sridhar cried in front of him. Oh, Rukmini Didi is making the point. It doesn't say whether he claimed himself or others claimed that. Yeah, so it might have not been himself claiming that. It's not clear totally. Okay, so the Lord roared and ate betel nuts as Murāri and Sridhar cried in front of him. Haridāsa prati Prabhu sadoy hoya, more dekho Haridāsa bole dako diya. Thereafter the Lord mercifully called Haridās and said, O Haridās, behold my form. Ei mor deho hoite, tumi mor boro, tomar je jati she jati mor dharo. You are more dear to me than my own body. I certainly belong to the same caste as you. Gaudiya Bhashya. Mahāprabhu said to Haridās, some people may consider your non-Hindu body as inferior to my Brahman body, but their vision is defective. I say with conviction that there is no difference between your caste and my caste. Rather, your body is superior to my body in all respects. Modern Hindus consider their bodies superior to the bodies of the Yavanas. Being intoxicated with pride over the respective castes, such atheistic Hindus consider the Lord's devotees born in any caste as inferior. Their process of reasoning is extremely faulty. The material body of an embodied soul who is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord may from mundane vision apparently resemble the body of a low-caste person. But such a mentality is offensive. Persons whose bodies consist of blood and semen are eager. Sorry, one second, my throat's getting. Persons whose bodies consist of blood and semen are eager to establish their supremacy on the basis of their Hindu or non-Hindu considerations. They develop such considerations because they are indifferent towards the resolute worship of Lord Hari. The sinful Yavanas are the so-called pious Hindus. They establish their superiority on the basis of their worldly considerations. Being controlled by such considerations, they blaspheme the Vaishnavas and traverse the path to hell without any tangible gain. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya, chapter 4, verses 192 to 193, it is stated, Diksha kale bhakta kore atma samarpan, Shei kale Krishna tare kore atma sama, Shei deha kore tar, chidananda moy, aprakrita dehe tar charana bhajai. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders unto the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as himself. When the devotee's body is thus transformed into spiritual existence, the devotee, in that transcendental body, renders service to the lotus feet of the Lord. In the Sarartha Darshini commentary on Śrīmad Bhagavatam 5.12.11, it is stated, just as a piece of iron becomes gold by contact with a touchstone, the material body and senses of a person become spiritual in the association of devotional service. In order to exhibit the glories of devotional service, the Supreme Lord, by his inconceivable potencies, mysteriously manifests the transcendental body, senses, and mind of a devotee, and mysteriously destroys his false body and senses. The purport of saying mysteriously is that people who are blind to the truth identify a Vaishnava with his previous material designations without realizing his actual identity, and they consider his body as a mortal bag of bones and flesh, and thus commit offenses at his feet. In the Upadeshamrita, verse 6, it is stated, Drishtai swabhava janatar vapushascha doshair na prakritattamiha bhakta janasya pashyet gangam bhasam na kalu budbudabhena pankair brahma dravatvam apagachati niradharmai. Being situated in his original Krishna-conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee's having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee, but despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganga, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganga without considering the condition of the water. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita 2.3.139, it is stated, Bhaktanam Satchidananda Rupeshvangendriyatmasu Ghatate Svanurupeshu Vaikunten Yatra Chasvata. In other words, whether a devotee lives in Vaikunta or anywhere else, his Satchidananda body is appropriate for the Lord's service. His Satchidananda body appropriate for the Lord's service is spontaneously manifest. By the awakening of devotional service, his material body born of 5 gross elements transforms into Satchidananda. The birth and death of such a body is exactly like the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Lord's Satchidananda body. Wow. Those who consider the appearance and disappearance of the devotees and the Supreme Lord to be like the birth and death of conditioned souls, who are forced to accept the fruits of their karma, those people repeatedly suffer material miseries rather than obtain liberation. পাপিষ্টা জবানে তোমার যত দিল দুঃখ তাহা সাঙ্গারিতে মোর বিদরয়ে buka. Mahaprabhu said to Haridāsa Ṭhākura, "When I remember how much distress the Yavans gave you, my heart breaks." Gaudiya Bhashya. Under the control of greed, human beings begin to act whimsically. As a result, they often commit sinful activities. When they lack the propensity to serve the worshipable object, they invite various forms of piety and impiety in the kingdom of enjoyment. It is the nature of sinful persons to oppose liberated souls. Pious persons neither attack the conceptions of the liberated souls, nor do they accept them. That is why liberated souls are always compassionate on the conditioned souls. But when a materialist who is engaged in pious and sinful activities tries to cause pain to the devotees of the devotees do not desire to retaliate like ordinary karmis. As a result, such sinful persons become more and more entangled in miseries. This makes the hearts of the devotees compassionate for those sinful persons. And since the devotees' worship is disturbed, the Supreme Lord also feels distressed for those devotees. Shuno shuno Haridāsa tomare jokhone nagare nagare mari bedai jobane dekhia tomar dukha chakra dhori kore namilo vaikunta hoite sabha katibare. Listen, Haridas. When the Yavanas beat you in the various villages, I saw your distress and descended from Vaikuntha with a disc in my hand in order to cut everyone to pieces. Gaudiya Bhashya. By the will of the Lord, various laws are current in this material world. The fruit of workers discuss those laws of God. Worldly happiness and distress, or reward and punishment of persons who are forced to enjoy the fruits of their karma, are directed by the general laws of God. But the gravity of the offenses committed by persons who are envious of the Lord's devotees is so great and beyond the general laws that the Supreme Lord personally judges them. In this regard, one should discuss the topics concerning Maharaj Ambarish described in the 9th canto of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Prananta koriya toma mare je shakal tumi mane chinta taha sabar kushal. So, listen, Haridas, when the Yavanas beat you in the various marketplaces, I saw your distress and descended from Vaikuntha with a disc in my hand in order to cut everyone to pieces. Yet, you desired the well-being of those who almost tortured you to death. Gaudiya Bhashya. In this world, a person dies when he faces the highest degree of misery. Being induced by their sinful propensities, the miscreants gratify their senses by giving as much distress to the devotees of the Lord as they can. But since Thakur Haridas was not so eager for sensual happiness, and he always endeavored to please the senses of the Lord, he did not notice his own distress. Moreover, in order to remove the sinful propensities of those who endeavored to give him trouble, he mentally prayed for their benefit. The tolerance of the Lord's devotee is so great that even if someone desires his inauspiciousness, rather than taking revenge, he prays in such a way that the sinner obtains auspiciousness, just as a philanthropist gets mercy and support from ordinary people. Those miscreants received compassion from Thakur Haridas. Apane mara na khao, taha nahi dekho, tokhono ota sabare bhalo mone dekho. You ignored how severely you were beaten, and you desired their well-being. You ignored how severely you were beaten, and you desired their well-being. Tumi bhalo chintile na koro mui bol. Mor chakra toma lagi hoilo bifal. Katite na paro tor sankalpa lagia tor prishte paro tor marana dekhiya. Tohar marana nija ange kori loya e tar chinna ache micha nahi. God, I don't know how to say these words. Anyways, kaya. When you desired their benefit, I was unable to use my power against them. My disc became powerless because of you. Due to your resolve, I could not sever their heads. When I saw how severely they were beating you, I covered your back. I then took the beating on my own body. Here are the marks. I am not speaking a lie. Gaudiya Bhashya. Since Thakur Haridas desired benefit for those envious miscreants, even though the Lord was angry at them, he could not award them a suitable punishment due to the Thakur's prayer. Therefore, in order to protect his devotee, the Supreme Lord personally accepted the blows of the envious person's weapons. Jeva gona chilo mor prakasha korite shigra ailo tor dukha na paro sahite. Besides the other indirect reasons that made me appear, I came quickly because I could not tolerate your distress. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Gaurasundar directly checked the envious person's attack on Haridāsa Ṭhākura and indirectly revealed his affection for his devotees by exhibiting the pastime of expressing inability to tolerate his devotees' distress. Tomare chinilo mor nada bhalo mate sarva bhabe more bandi korila advaite. My nada properly recognized you, for Advaita has completely bound me with his love. Gaudiya Bhashya. Advaita Prabhu properly recognized Thakur Haridas. Advaita Prabhu is Lord Śrī Caitanya's special opulence. Being compelled by the service of Advaita Prabhu, the Lord is bound to him in all respects. Bhakta baraite she ঠাকুর ভালো জানে কি না বলে কি না করে ভক্তের কারণে. There is no Gaudiya Bhashya. There is no activity that the wait. Did I read the translation? The Lord is expert in glorifying his devotees. What is there that he does not say or what is there that he does not say or do for the sake of his devotees? Gaudiya Bhashya. There is no activity that the Supreme Lord does not do, nor any words that he does not speak in order to spread the glories of his devotees. Since the Supreme Lord is omniscient, only he is capable of performing extraordinary activities. Jwalanta anala prabhu bhakta lagi khai, bhakter kinkar hoy apana ichai. For the sake of his devotees, the Lord eats blazing fire, and out of his sweet will, he becomes their servant. Gaudiya Bhashya. Lord Krishna once swallowed fire when, after leaving their cows for grazing in the Munja forest, Hari Bol, everybody. Can you hear me now? Oh.
Yes, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Okay, great. Okay, the power went out, so I just switched over to my mobile data. Okay, I have to share my screen again, right? Oh no, it's still sharing. Okay, great. Perfect. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so Gaudiya Bhashya. Lord Krishna once swallowed fire when, after leaving their cows for grazing in the Munja forest, the cowherd boys engaged in playing, and a blazing forest fire surrounded them on all sides. At that time, the cowherd boys took shelter of Sri Krishna, who, out of affection for his devotees, swallowed the entire blazing fire in a moment. See Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 19. Examples of the Lord's becoming the servant of his devotees, such as when he became the messenger of the Pandavas and the charioteer of Arjuna, are found in the scriptures. Bhakta boy Krishna aar kichui na jane, bhakter samana nahi ananta bhuvane. Lord Krishna does not know anything other than his devotees. In all the universes, there is nothing he considers equal to his devotees. Gaudiya Bhashya. In this regard, one should discuss Bhagavad Gita 9.21 and Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4 verses 63 to 66, 60 and 68, and 10.86.59. Heno Krishna Bhakta Name Na Pai Santosh She Saba Papire Lagilo Daiva Dosh. Anyone who is not pleased by hearing the names of such devotees of Krishna is sinful and cursed by the laws of providence. Okay, so this is where we're reading up to today. Yeah, and well, let's just read the next few verses. Just on the power's back, great. Yeah. Heno Krishna Bhakta Name Na Pai Santosh She Shava Papire Lagilo Daivadosh. Anyone who is not pleased by hearing the names of such devotees of Krishna is sinful and cursed by the laws of providence. O brothers, behold the glories of the devotees to the full satisfaction of your eyes, and hear what Gaur Hari said to Haridas. After hearing these most compassionate words from the mouth of the Lord, Haridas immediately fell unconscious to the ground. As he yet he cried so profusely that he could not see the Lord's form. Haridas rolled about the entire courtyard. One moment he breathed heavily, and the next moment he lost consciousness. Haridas was overwhelmed with ecstasy. Although Lord Chaitanya tried to pacify him, he could not remain calm. My dear Vishwambar, O Lord of the universe, please be merciful to this sinful person. I fall at your feet. I have no good qualities. I am a fallen outcast. How can I possibly describe your glories? If one sees me, he becomes sinful. If one touches me, he should take bath. How then can I glorify your topics? You have personally declared that you will never forsake anyone who remembers your lotus feet, even if he is as insignificant as an insect. But you forsake the greatest kings if they do not remember your lotus feet. These words do not apply to me, however, for I do not remember you. You protect even a fallen soul if he simply remembers you. So these prayers go on for a very long time. Tomorrow, this will be our full reading. Will just be the prayers of Haridāsa Ṭhākura. But now we still have 15 minutes left. And so in these 15 minutes, I thought maybe we could read about Devananda Pandit. So let me just close this. Okay, let's open up. Because today is Devananda Pandit's disappearance day. And it's also, who is it? Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Maharaj? I think it's his appearance day, if I remember correctly. Let's see, VC Vani. Let's see if there's something about Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Maharaj. It probably is. Let's see. Yes. How long is this? If it's too long, then I won't read it. That's not way too long. No, it's short. Okay, let's first read about Srila Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Goswami Maharaj, and then we'll read about Devananda Pandit. Okay. So, I want to make this so that you can read it though. Whatever. It's just going to be like this. I hope you don't mind. Okay, January 8th, 2024 is the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Goswami Maharaj in Vrindavan, India. The following is the Bhava Anuvad of the Katha given by Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj on December 19, 2014. So, Srila Bharati Maharaj begins how he begins so many of his classes throughout the year. Aaj ek vishesh titi hai. Today is a special titi. It is the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Goswami Maharaj. Srila Shoti Goswami Maharaj used to earlier work at Tata Nagar, but upon hearing Harikatha, he gave up his job and joined the Gaudiya Math. Srila Shoti Goswami Maharaj is one of the 18 sannyas disciples of Srila Prabhupada. His literary contribution. Let's see if I can make the text bigger. Let's see. I can. Oh, that's better. Whatever. Okay. There, that's better. Okay. So, being proficient in Sanskrit, he made a substantial literary contribution. He served as an editor of the Bhagavat, that was the bilingual monthly in Hindi and Sanskrit. He published, that was published by Naimisharanya Math, Lucknow. So he was the editor of the Hindi Sanskrit magazine Bhagavat. He would correspond in Sanskrit for any comments or queries posed in Sanskrit by the readers. He also wrote extensively for Śrī Gaudiya Patrika, published by Śrī Devananda Gaudiya Math, established by Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada. And he proofread Śrī Bhagavat Patrika, published by Śrī Keshavji Gaudiya Math, Mathura, which my Gurudev was in charge of. He also proofread the Vishnu Sahasranam, published along with the commentary of Srila Baladev Vijayabhushan by Shishimad Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj, and Vedanta Sutra published along with the Govinda Bhashya commentary by Shishimad Bhakti Sri Rup Siddhanti Goswami Maharaj. So he'd help all the different mats, all different disciples of Prabhupada with their publications. During DT installations, he would chant the mantras promptly without having to refer to them. He spoke Harikatha in a clear and booming voice, using many scriptural references. A mystic perfection. Srila Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Goswami Maharaj possessed a special siddhi, mystic perfection, which helped remove poison from a dog bite by chanting some mantras. Interesting. Twice during Brajmandal Parikrama, my god brother, Shripad Bhakti Prasad Puri Maharaj, was bitten by a dog. The first time he had to go to Delhi and get an injection, and on the other occasion, Srila Shoti Goswami Maharaj, who was with us in the Parikrama party, he exclaimed, "No issues, I will do the needful." He made Puri Maharaj stand on a plate made out of wet clay and began reciting some mantras, which made the plate rotate, while Puri Maharaj still stood on it. Whoa. Eventually, the plate stops rotating. Then he affirmed, "Nothing further needs to be done. The poison has been removed." Basically, the plate continued to rotate as long as the poison was not completely removed. He would not normally exercise this siddhi. It was only incidental. To a Matvasi being bitten by a dog. I've personally witnessed this incident, hence I remember it. Today, on his disappearance day, I remember him and pray at his lotus feet, begging for his mercy. What a neat story. Okay, so that's our reading for Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Maharaj, and now we are going to read from Śrī Caitanya and his Associates by Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. Let me find it. Kindle. All right, where is it? Oh man, it's organized differently now all of a sudden. Anyways, I'll just type in Śrī Caitanya. I'll just type in Chaitanya and his associates. How come it's not coming up? What the heck? Okay. Maybe it's uncollected. Yeah, there it is. All right. Let's make this full screen. Devananda Pandit. Where is Devananda Pandit? Okay. There it is. There he is. Okay. Śrī Devananda Pandit. This is Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. Okay. Purananam Artaveta Śrī Devananda Pandita Purasin Nanda Parishat Pandito Bhagurir Muni. The scholar Devananda Pandit knew the meaning of all the Puranas. Previously, he was Bhaguri Muni, the scholar in Nanda Maharaja's court. Okay, he's Bhaguri Muni. That's from Gaur Ganadash Tipika 106. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's father was named Maheshwar Visharad. Mahaprabhu visited his house, which was situated on an embankment. Devananda Pandit, a peaceful Brahmin who desired liberation, made his home nearby. That's from Caitanya-bhāgavata, Madhya, chapter 21, verses 6 to 7. Now here's a quotation from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Lord delivered Devananda Pandit in the town of Kulia. It's from Madhya Lila. According to Śrī Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Kulia was a suburb of Navadvip, situated on the west bank of the Ganga. At that time, the central part of the town of Navadvip, also known as Mayapur, was situated on the eastern bank of the river. The modern city of Navadvip stands on the site of the former Kulia, which is known as a place where offenses are forgiven, Aparad Bhajaner Pat. Proof of this is found in the old names of many neighborhoods, such as Kolerganj, Kolerdaha, and Gadkali Kol. We read about that recently. See in the previous chapter, chapter 9, the previous chapter, verse 98, we read that. Each of the 9 islands of Navadvip Dham represents one of the 9 types of devotional service. Koladvip is the island of service to the Lord's lotus feet, Pada Sevana. The word kola has been distorted in the popular speech as kulia. The word kol also means a boar, Varaha. The Lord revealed his Varaha form to Vasudeva Vipra in Satyayuga. And here's a quotation from Bhakti Ratnakar. Just look, this is Visharada's embankment. Here the Lord met Devananda Pandit. He chastised him for the offense he had committed to Srivas Pandit, which caused him to repent. So that was from Bhakti Ratnakar. From the above evidence from Caitanya-bhāgavata, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhakti Ratnakar, it is clear that Devananda Pandit's house was somewhere near to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's father, Maheshwar Visharad. It is thus clearly indicated that his school, his toll, was situated somewhere in Kulia village. Devananda's offense. Devananda Pandit was a scholar and an ascetic who had been indifferent to the world from an early age. Although he had won a reputation for his erudition, he nevertheless had no feeling of devotion to Krishna, and so failed to understand that bhakti is the ultimate purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Being a mumukshu, or one who seeks impersonal liberation, moksha, Devananda Pandit praised dry austerities and renunciation and did not speak devotional purports to Srimad Bhagavatam. One day, Srivas Pandit came to hear a Bhagavatam recital at Devananda Pandit's house. As he listened to the text of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srivas Pandit became absorbed in a mood of loving devotion and started to cry. Devananda Pandit's faithless disciples threw him out of the assembly for causing a disturbance. Since Devananda Pandit did not object to the action of his students, he was responsible for their offense to a devotee. For this reason, Mahāprabhu was thus angry with him. The Lord said, "Whoever recites Srimad Bhagavatam," this is from Caitanya-bhāgavata, Madhya Lila, chapter 21. The Lord said, "Whoever recites Srimad Bhagavatam without glorifying devotional service is an ignorant fool who knows nothing. This rascal recites Srimad Bhagavatam and never mentions bhakti. I will go and tear up his manuscript. Just watch me." Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur comments on this verse as follows. He says, "When those bereft of devotion forget their actual identity, they become completely indifferent to the service of the Lord. When they identify this indifference as the ultimate goal of life, they become a source of great displeasure to the Lord, even though He is by nature supremely merciful." Here, Lord Gaurasundar shows his dissatisfaction and informs us that this attitude of the non-devotee is not only unnecessary, but reprehensible. He also indicates that both the acts of enjoying and renouncing the fruits of material actions are improper. The devotees find great satisfaction in seeing the Lord become angry in this way. Devananda gains faith in the Lord. Some time after Devananda Pandit committed this offense to Srivas Pandit, Mahāprabhu passed near his house and saw that he was engaged in giving a discourse on Srimad Bhagavatam. He became angry and rebuked him severely for his lack of faith in the Vaishnavas. Just as blasphemy of the devotees makes one deprived of the Lord's mercy and destined for downfall, glorifying them and engaging in their service is the best way to find the mercy of the Lord and become freed from all sinful and offensive activity. So Mahāprabhu, this is Caitanya-bhāgavata, Antya-khaṇḍa now, chapter 3, verse 449. Mahāprabhu says, "Listen, Brahman, if you want to be cured after consuming poison, you must ingest ambrosia through the very same mouth that took the poison. In this way, not only will the poison be digested, but your body will become immortal through the ambrosia's divine power." Through great good fortune, Mahāprabhu's dear associate Vakreshwar Pandit came to stay at Devananda Pandit's house. Because Devananda took excellent care of Vakreshwar Pandit, Mahāprabhu softened towards him. Previously, Devananda Pandit had been completely lacking faith in the Lord. But when he heard of Mahāprabhu's glories from Vakreshwar Pandit, his attitude changed. Through the association of the Lord's devotee, he began to develop a taste for pure devotional service. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur writes in this regard, "For Devananda Pandit of Kulia, the fruit of service to the Vaishnava was faith in Mahāprabhu's lotus feet. Vakreshwar Pandit's visit to his house was the source of this auspiciousness. Although Devananda Pandit was a smarta, he was a great scholar and self-controlled. He studied nothing but the Srimad Bhagavatam. He believed in God and had control of his senses. All he lacked was faith in Mahāprabhu. By the grace of Vakreshwar Pandit, this faulty intelligence was wiped away and he became a believer in Lord Gaurasundar. Devananda was a scholar of Srimad Bhagavatam, but it was through Vakreshwar's mercy that he was able to understand its meaning from Mahāprabhu." That's Chaitanya Charitamrita 1:1077. Mahāprabhu told Devananda to explain Srimad Bhagavatam in terms of devotional service. It was Devananda Pandit's great fortune that he was able to receive the mercy of the Lord in the form of a chastisement. Now this is from Caitanya-bhāgavata. It says, Madhya-khaṇḍa, chapter 21, it says, Devananda Pandit was a great pious soul, for Mahaprabhu verbally punished him. The chastisement of Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu is the greatest pious act. Even if one should die as a result of the Lord's punishment, he still goes to Vaikuntha. Okay. Devananda Pandit received this mercy due to living in Kulia, or Koladvip, the place where offenses are forgiven. Aparad Panjanirpat. Gopal Chapal was also forgiven. Gopal Chapal was also forgiven his offenses in Kulia. Devananda Pandit's disappearance day is celebrated on the Krishna Ekadashi of the month of Posha. It says Krishna Ekadashi. That's interesting. I guess there's a difference between how we calculate appearance and disappearance tithis and Ekadashi. One happens with Ekadashi, it's, what is it? Surya Udoy? No, Aruna Udoy. And then the tithis, like for Vaishnav's appearance days and disappearance days, is Surya Udoy. Ekadashi is Aruna Udoy, and so one's like before the sun's visible, and Ekadashi's before the sun's visible, and tithis of appearance days and disappearance days are when the sun's visible, something like that. All right, so Devananda Pandit ki jai. Okay, it is 8:30, time for us to complete our reading. I'm so happy we're able to read about these two personalities. Tomorrow is, let's see, calendar, Tomorrow is the disappearance day of Sri Mahesh Pandit and Sri Udharan Thakur. So hopefully we'll get time to read about them tomorrow as well. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki jai, Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Guru Dev ki jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmad Shila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Parishad Vrinda ki jai, Nityal Pravishta Mahā-prakāśa Srila Gorkshwaras Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Nityal Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Shri Rupa Anugauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Jai Srila Nityal Pravishta Shishimar Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj ki jai, Nityal Pravishta Vishwabhat Shishimar Bhakti Balavat Tirtha Gosai Maharaj ki jai, Nityal Pravishta Vishwabhat Shishimar Bhakti Dait Madhav Gosai Maharaj ki jai, Nityal Pravishta Vishwabhat Shishimar Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosai Maharaj ki jai. And Nityal Pravishta Vishwabhat Shishimar Bhakti Bhudev Shroti Gosai Maharaj ki jai, Tadir Shubha Tirubhav Titi ki jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sharda Gosai Prabhu ki jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Nama Chai Shri Haridāsa Ṭhākura ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Kshetra Mandal, Gora Mandal, Braja Mandal, Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai, Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Jai Shri Devananda Pandit ki jai, Tadiya Shubha Tirobhav Titi ki jai, Jai, is it in Chaitanya Bhagavat, what are we reading? The Lord's Sat Prahariya Bhav ki jai, Sridhar Pandit ki jai, Shri Murāri Gupta ki jai, Śrī Haridāsa Ṭhākura ki jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Hari ki jai, the Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai, Śrī Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Śrī Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Vrindai Tulsi Devai, Priyai Keshavashacha, Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sandubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna, Nri Hari Prabhu and Pavatarani Mataji, Champak Mataji, Shubhananda Prabhu, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Hari Priya Didi, Rukmini Didi. Who else is there? There's a bunch of people, but nobody wrote comments. But pranams to everybody who's watching. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for joining, and see you all tomorrow to read Srila Haridāsa Ṭhākura's prayers to the Lord. Yeah. Does anybody have anything they want to say before I end this video? All right. So I'm gonna go. I'm going right now to. I'll go. Maybe I'll stop at Devananda Gaudiya Math on my way out, and then I'm gonna go to Gopinath Gaudiya Math for a program there. I'm gonna do kirtan, and there'll be prasad, and yeah, just a little program that Ram Shraddha Prabhu and Janaki Mataji are putting on. It's a yearly thing they do. All right. So I'll. Oh wait, one second. All right, Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranams, Hare Prabhu. And pranams Rukmini Didi. Thank you. Hare Krishna.